Then, through gritted teeth, he hissed, "Which one of you put superglue on my passenger seat?" The silence in the room was thick enough to cut with a knife. Tom's question hung in the air, his voice trembling with a mix of rage and terror. His eyes darted from Mom to Hannah to me, as if he couldn't believe one of the people he was supposed to trust most in the world would do something so cruel, so petty, so calculated. I sat on the couch, my hands folded neatly in my lap, my expression as innocent as a lamb, exactly the way I'd practiced it. Inside, though, a cold, bitter laugh bubbled up. Let the games begin. Let them turn on each other, just like they turned on me. Mom was the first to react, her face turning from pale to crimson in seconds. She slammed her fist on the dining table, sending the half-empty plates of food clattering. "What did you say? Superglue? On your seat? Who in their right mind would do that? It sure as hell wasn't me. I've been right here with this useless woman all night." She jabbed a finger at Hannah, her one good eye blazing with fury. The pirate patch I'd bought her, black leather with a silver skull, a petty little joke that had made her snarl at me for a week, glinted in the dim kitchen light, a constant reminder of the damage Hannah had done, the damage I'd ensured Mom couldn't forget. Hannah jumped to her feet, her own face flushed with indignation, her hands balled into fists at her sides. "Me? You think it was me? Are you out of your mind, you one-eyed hag?" She took a step toward Mom, her voice rising to a shrill shriek. "I love Tom. I would never do anything to hurt him. Unlike you, you've hated me from the second I laid eyes on you. You've been trying to ruin us since the mall, and now you're framing me for this." "Framing you?" Mom screeched, lunging forward as if she would attack Hannah right then and there. I leaned forward slightly, ready to stop them if needed, just enough to keep the fight going, not enough to actually end it. Tom, though, was faster. He stumbled between them, his body still stiff from the superglue fiasco, his suit pants sticking to his legs in a way that made him look both ridiculous and pathetic. "Stop! Both of you, stop!" he yelled, his voice cracking. "I just spent 2 hours in the emergency room. The doctors had to use acetone to get my pants off, and my skin is peeling. I'm in agony, and all you two can do is scream at each other?" He turned to Hannah, his eyes filled with a fragile hope, like he was begging her to prove him wrong. "Hannah, tell me it wasn't you. Please. I know you get jealous, but this is too much." Hannah's face crumpled, and she threw herself at Tom, sobbing into his chest. "Babe, I swear, it wasn't me. I would never hurt you. I think it was her." She pointed at me, her red-rimmed eyes narrowing with suspicion. "She's been weird ever since we got married. She never talks to us, she never smiles. She probably hates me because I'm with you. She's the one who did it. She's trying to make us fight." All eyes turned to me. I let my lower lip tremble, my eyes filling with fake tears as I shook my head. "Me? Hannah, how could you say that? I've been in my room all night reading. I didn't even go near Tom's car. I would never do something like that to my own brother." I looked at Tom, my voice breaking. "Tom, you know me. I'm not like that. I just want us all to get along." It was the perfect lie, sweet, innocent, the kind of lie that had always worked for me in the past, back when I was the naive little sister who let them walk all over her. But now, it was a weapon, and judging by the look on Tom's face, it was working. He hesitated, his gaze flickering between Hannah's tear-stained face and my own broken one. He wanted to believe Hannah, she was his wife, the love of his life, but he also wanted to believe that I, his little sister, couldn't be capable of such malice. Mom scoffed, crossing her arms over her chest. "Please. She's too weak to do something like this. She's always been a coward." "No, it was you, Hannah. You're a jealous, psychotic bitch. And you can't stand the thought of Tom being happy, even if it's with you." "I'm not psychotic," Hannah screamed, pulling away from Tom to glare at Mom. "You're the one who's crazy. You lost your eye because you're stupid, not because of me, and now you're taking it out on me. I should have never agreed to marry into this messed up family." "Then leave," Mom shot back. "No one's stopping you. Get out of my house, and never come back." "Mom!" Tom yelled, horrified. "You can't say that. Hannah's my wife." "Oh, so now you're taking her side?" Mom shrieked, her voice cracking with betrayal. "After she blinded me? After she probably put superglue on your seat? You're still defending her? I should have never had you. You're a disappointment, a coward, just like your father." The mention of Dad hit Tom like a punch to the gut. Dad had left us when we were kids, abandoning Mom to raise us alone. It was Mom's biggest wound, and she never hesitated to use it against Tom when she was angry. His face paled, and he stumbled back, looking like a lost little boy. Hannah saw her chance, and she wrapped her arms around him again, whispering in his ear. I couldn't hear what she was saying, but I could see the way her eyes flickered toward me, cold and calculating. Whatever she was telling him, it was working. Tom's expression softened, and he wrapped his arms around her, shooting Mom a look of anger and betrayal. "I can't believe you said that, Mom," he said, his voice quiet but firm. "Hannah didn't do anything wrong. It was a mistake, just like the mall incident. We need to move on." "Move on?" Mom screamed. "How am I supposed to move on when I only have one eye, when my own son is defending the woman who did this to me?" She collapsed into a chair, sobbing, and I stood up, walking over to her to comfort her. I put a hand on her shoulder, squeezing gently, just hard enough to remind her of the pain, just hard enough to keep her angry. "It's okay, Mom," I whispered, my voice soft and soothing. "I'm here. Tom's just upset. He doesn't mean it. Let's just go to bed. We can talk about this tomorrow." Mom nodded, still sobbing, and I helped her stand up, leading her toward her bedroom. As we passed Tom and Hannah, I shot Hannah a quick, innocent smile. Hannah's eyes narrowed, and she tightened her grip on Tom's arm. I knew she didn't believe me, but it didn't matter. What mattered was that Tom did, or at least, that he wanted to. And that was enough to keep the tension alive, enough to keep them fighting. That night, I lay in in bed, wide awake, listening to the sounds of the house. I could hear Tom and Hannah arguing in their bedroom, their voices muffled but sharp. I could hear Mom crying in hers. It was music to my ears. After all the pain they'd put me through, the burns, the abandonment, the shame, I deserved to hear them suffer. I deserved to watch them destroy each other. But I wasn't done yet. The superglue was just the beginning. I had bigger plans, crueler plans. Plans that would make them regret ever crossing me. The next morning, the house was tense. Mom refused to come out of her room, and Tom and Hannah barely spoke to each other. I made breakfast, pancakes, Tom's favorite, and set it on the table. I called Mom a few times, but she didn't answer. Finally, I knocked on her door, my voice soft. Mom, I made breakfast. Please come eat. You need your strength. The door opened a crack, and Mom peered out at me, her eye red and puffy, her pirate patch askew. Go away, she muttered. I don't want to talk to anyone. I know you're hurt, Mom, I said, pushing the door open slightly. But you can't stay in here forever. Hannah's not worth it. And Tom, he'll come around. He just needs time. I paused, leaning in closer, my voice dropping to a whisper. But if he doesn't, if Hannah keeps hurting you, keeps hurting Tom, we can make her pay. Together. Mom's eye widened, and she stared at me like she was seeing me for the first time. For a moment, I thought she might refuse, might call me crazy. But then, a cold, hard look settled in her good eye, a look I recognized. A look of revenge. What do you have in mind? She asked, her voice low and dangerous. I smiled, a slow, cold smile that didn't reach my eyes. Let's just say, we can give Hannah a taste of her own medicine. She's paranoid, right? She thinks every woman near Tom is a mistress. So let's give her something to be paranoid about. Mom nodded, a faint smirk tugging at the corner of her mouth. Tell me more. Over breakfast, I laid out my plan. It was simple, really. Play on Hannah's paranoia, make her think Tom was cheating on her, make her lash out, and then make sure Tom saw just how crazy she really was. Mom loved it. She'd always been a petty woman, and the thought of getting back at Hannah filled her with a new energy. We spent the morning plotting, whispering in the kitchen, while Tom was at work and Hannah was in her room, resting. By the time we were done, Mom's face was glowing with excitement, and I knew we were ready. That afternoon, I went to the mall. I bought a cheap, sparkly necklace, something Hannah would never wear, and a tube of bright red lipstick, the same shade I'd seen Hannah wear once. I also bought a small, empty perfume bottle, which I filled with a floral scent that was nothing like Hannah's usual musky perfume. Then, I went to Tom's office. I knew he was in a meeting, so I left the necklace on his desk, with a smudge of red lipstick on the edge of his notebook and a spritz of the floral perfume in the air. I didn't leave a note. There was no need. Hannah would find it, and she would jump to conclusions. That's what she did best. When I got home, Hannah was in the living room, scrolling through her phone. She looked up when I walked in, her eyes narrowing. Where were you? She asked, her voice sharp. Just at the mall, I said, smiling innocently. I needed to buy some things. Why? Did you miss me? Hannah rolled her eyes, going back to her phone. Whatever. Tom called. He said he's working late tonight. I raised an eyebrow. Really? He didn't mention that to me. That's weird. He usually tells me everything. I paused, feigning confused.